ever been uninvited from a wedding they were literally paying for? Because apparently that happened to me. And somehow I was still the one accused of making things difficult. My younger sister, Chloe, was the golden child in the most textbook way possible. Pretty, social, naturally likable. The kind of person people described as a light, even when she forgot birthdays or borrowed money she never returned. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one, which sounds nice until you realize it usually just means the person everyone quietly depends on. Growing up, Chloe got attention and forgiveness, and I got expectations. It wasn't abusive or dramatic, just consistent enough that eventually everyone settled into their roles without questioning them. So when our dad lost his job and money got tight years later, guess who helped Chloe through college? Me. When she totaled her car and cried about how unfair life was? Me again. When she broke up with her ex and needed rent covered for 3 months? Also me. And honestly, I didn't even resent it at the time because helping her had become so normal that it barely felt optional anymore. Then she met Ryan. At first, I liked him. He was polite, calm, very mature businessman energy. The kind of guy who always speaks carefully enough that you don't notice he's insulting you until later. The shift happened slowly after they got engaged. Chloe started making weird little comments, like joking that I was basically her financial advisor, or saying Ryan thought I worked too much and needed to let people stand on their own. Which was interesting considering I was still paying half her rent at that point. Then came the wedding planning, and somehow I ended up funding most of it without ever officially agreeing to. It started small, venue deposit here, florist there, helping because they were stressed. And before I realized it, I was attached to almost every major payment. Chloe kept promising she'd pay me back later once Ryan's business stabilized, and Ryan always thanked me in this overly formal way that somehow felt more disrespectful than if he hadn't said anything at all. Then I got downgraded from maid of honor. Not directly, of course, that would require honesty. Chloe called me crying one night saying Ryan thought wedding planning was putting pressure on me, and maybe I'd be happier with less responsibility. 2 days later, her college friend Mia suddenly had the role instead. That should have been my wake-up call, but somehow it still wasn't. The actual wake-up call came 2 weeks before the wedding when Chloe asked if we could talk privately. The second I walked into her apartment, I knew something was off because Ryan was sitting there too, smiling, calm, prepared. Chloe wouldn't look at me properly when she said it. "We think it might be better if you don't come to the wedding." I genuinely thought she was joking at first. Then Ryan leaned forward slightly and said, "There's been a lot of tension lately, and we really want peaceful energy that day." Peaceful energy. At a wedding I was helping pay for. I just stared at them for a second, waiting for Chloe to laugh or apologize or say literally anything that sounded sane. But instead she said, "I think we need space to start our marriage independently." And that was the moment something inside me just stopped. Not exploded, not broke. Stopped. Because suddenly I could see the whole thing clearly. How useful I had been as long as I stayed in the exact role they wanted. Supportive, available, financially convenient. But the second I became a person with feelings or opinions, I became difficult. And the craziest part? They genuinely expected me to keep paying anyway.